President, please be seated. The court is back in session. And the floor is again given to the Deputy International Court Prosecutor to resume his line of questioning. You may now proceed.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. President. Shortly before the break, the witness, you said you did not recall any visits by the leaders of the Khmer Rouge or foreign delegations to the Kampong Khoi dam work site. I will refer you to two documents to see whether it reminds you of anything. The first document is E3/1339 on page, the page in English is 00168342. There are no other references in the other two languages. This is a radio broadcast by the Government of Democratic Kampuchea dated the 10th of December 1977, and that broadcast describes the visit of the Chinese Vice Prime Minister Cheng Yung-hui to Battambang on the 9th of December 1977. Accompanied by Pol Pot, Rosnim, alias Musambat, as well as Yengsari Von Vet, Mepang, and Chun Chun. And it is said in that broadcast that all of those persons visited the 17th January reservoir situated in Phnom Sampoi commune. A witness, were you still working at the Kampong Pui dam work site in December 1977? And does the reference to this visit by the Chinese Prime Minister remind you of anything?
Answer: I have never seen the visit while I was working there. I never saw the visit of senior people there.
D'accord. Et deuxième document.
Very well. The second document is E3/18. It is the book written by Kyo Sampan, The Recent History of Cambodia, and my positions. The reference in French is 00595487, and in English 001037080, and in Khmer 00103878. In this extract, Kyo Sampan describes his visit to the Kampong Khoi dam work site, and he says the following: furthermore, although I did not travel inside the country much between 1975 and 1979, I saw with my own eyes some of the achievements I had wished for, especially irrigation in the countryside, thanks to reservoirs in Trapiang Tamar, in brackets, in Phnom Srok, Banteminche, Siem Reap, close the brackets, and in Kampong Pui, to the west of Battambang. There were rice fields for as far as the eye could see. The confidence the regime gained from its victory in the war and from its achievements inspired me to want to help in whatever way I could, and to refrain from doing anything that might hinder the movement's efforts. In this context, one must understand how an intellectual like me can accept a discipline that in the end proved tragic, such as the discipline of isolation and concentrating only on one's own specific task. End of quote.
Au procureur international.
Yes, apart from the fact that the International Co-Prosecutor intended to read this excerpt from Kyo Sampan's book, which once more has nothing to do with this segment which relates to the Vietnamese. Since the witness has pointed out that he does not remember having seen any leaders, I wonder what is the relevance of this passage that the co-prosecutor has just cited. There is no relevance. We are wasting the court's time. Mr. President, I have not yet put my question to the witness, so the objection is premature. Can I proceed?
Ma question, monsieur le témoin.
My question to you, witness, is whether at the time he knew who Kyo Sampan was and what his duties and responsibilities were.
Answer: I never knew this person at that time. I did not know at that time who was Kyo Sampan.
Merci.
Thank you. Let me talk about another subject. You said that Tacham was the district chief, that is of the district of Banon. Do you know who was the chief of sector number 3 at the time when you were in that region?
I knew only Tacham, and I did not know at the time who was in charge of sector 5.
À propos de Tacham,
Regarding Tacham, did he or any other cadres of the party organize in Banan district marriages during the period from 1975 to 1979? That is the period of democratic Kampuchea.
Answer: you want to know about the marriage? No marriages were held during that period. There were only commitments. Couples were required to hold hands together and voice their commitments. No marriages were held.
très bien, effectivement.
Very well. That was indeed the terminology used at the time regarding commitments. Let us talk about commitments and making a commitment. During that period, that the future couples who made those commitments know each other before, and did they choose to marry one another?
Answer: they knew each other. They agreed to one another that they wanted to voice their commitment or make a resolution. No marriages took place.
Est-ce que vous avez vous-même assisté?
Did you yourself attend any marriages or marriage ceremonies or ceremonies during which people made commitments to marry one another?
Answer: no, I never attended any such meeting where couples were making commitments. Only a chief of communes were allowed and were invited to be in that meeting. I was simply a rank and file person.
D'accord, donc quand vous...
Very well. So when you say that during those marriages, people made a commitment, and since you were not there, you were not able to say whether they made those commitments freely.
Answer. They shared the agreement and they agreed to make the commitment. They went to the place called Levi where they were making their commitment. I did not go there to attend that commitment meeting. I was involved in my activities and work at my place or my location.
Bien, comme vous n'aviez pas...
Very well. Since you did not attend such ceremonies, I will not put any further questions to you on that. I have some questions on the policies of Democratic Cambodia regarding the treatment meted out to former officials and high-ranking officers of the Lon Nol regime. In the region of Battambang, and particularly in Banan district, what happened to the military officers of the Lon Nol regime and former officials of that regime in the days and months following the 17th of April 1975?
Answer. On 17 April 1975, said the civil party, I saw military and soldiers went to Old Bong Mon. And there was one soldier, perhaps he was known that he had a rank in the former regime. He was killed, he was shot to death, and at that time his wife was weeping and did not move away from the dead husband. After that time, the wife was also shot to death.
Est-ce que vous connaissiez personnellement...
Did you personally know that person who was led away and executed?
Answer. Tarom the blind or Tarom Kwa is now residing in USA.
Je parlais de la personne qui a...
I was referring to the person who was killed on that day, who was shot dead, and his wife. Do you know what that person's name was?
Answer. I did not know that person's name. That person was walked past my village.
Quand vous dites à proximité de votre village, est-ce que c'était...
You say it was close to your village. Was that close to Phnom Tapoi?
President, please observe the microphone, Mr. Witness. Answer. That person was walked past my village and they were heading to Old Bong Mon. At that time, that person was walked together with a group of other soldiers. Perhaps those people had ranks in the former regime. For this reason, they were sent away and executed.
Est-ce que vous avez entendu parler d'exécution?
Did you hear of any executions carried out at a place called Chamloy? I will spell it Chanlaos and Kdong.
Unit chief. He was my unit chief. He was my chief during the time that I was a soldier. He was smashed and killed at Chanlok Down.
Et quel grade avait-il?
And what rank did he have and what position did he hold at the time? Was that an important person in the army in that location?
President, once again, please observe your microphone, Mr. Witness. He was my chief during Lunol time. During Lunol time, male and female were selected to be soldiers, and was my former chief during Lunol time, and he later on was sent away and killed.
Et comment avez-vous appris que...
And how did you get to know that Da Eung was executed?
President, please look at the microphone, Mr. Witness, before you speak. Witness, at that time, I was going to collect the oranges from Posat when I encountered the decomposed body of Eum.
Et est-ce que lorsque vous avez vu son corps...
And when you saw his decomposing body, did that body have a uniform on it?
President, please wait, Mr. Witness, observe microphone before you speak. Witness, he was wearing ordinary clothes, and the clothes were torn because of the dog perhaps beating beat the bodies.
Tout à l'heure, vous avez parlé de votre chef de...
A while ago, you talked of your battalion commander called Tram. Did you receive instructions from your commander? Witness, I think you have to wait for the light to be turned on. That's the light on your microphone in order to answer my questions. You talked of the commander of your battalion, Trav. Did you receive any instructions from him regarding the fact that former high-ranking officers of the Lone Wolf Army had to be identified and denounced?
Answer: I never received any instructions from him. As I said, I was a former soldier in the former regime.
Oui, je vais pour clarifier.
Yes. Let me clarify by reading out to you what you told co-investigating judges. It's document E3/5187. In French, it is on page 4, in Khmer, pages 3 and 4, and in English, page 4 as well. This is what you said, and I quote: they sought to eliminate high-ranking officers of the Lon Nol Army. I know that the soldiers and their families had been evacuated from the province of Battambang. I heard Crouch say the following, and I quote, "If anyone knows the former high-ranking officers of the army, report them to me." And this is what you said. That is what you said earlier. Can you explain to us further what Crouch said regarding these high-ranking soldiers and that they had to be reported to you, to him?
Answer. I said nothing when I was asked by him. I replied that I did not know who had a rank.
Comment faisaient les cadres?
What did the cadres in the region do to try to identify former officials or ranked officers of the Lon Nol regime? Did they use any methods to try to identify them or to seek them out?
Answer. They were taken away and smashed. This was the way they did to those high-ranking officers. For instance, Ta he had been arrested and sent away, and later on he was smashed.
Avant de pouvoir les emmener,
Before they were led away, were those people told anything to convince them to follow the cadres of the Khmer Rouge to wherever they were leading them to? What did the cadres tell them when they led them away? That is the cadres of the Khmer Rouge.
I do not get your question, co-prosecutor. Could you repeat it?
oui, je vais la changer.
Yes, let me rephrase it. You have said that the officers of the Lon Nol Army were smashed. They were led away and smashed. What did they do to convince them to avoid a situation in which they would rebel or revolt? What were they told to convince them to follow the cadres of the Khmer Rouge?
Answer. I do not know how to answer.
Bien, je crois que ce n'est pas été clair. Je vais passer.
I think it hasn't been clear enough. I will move to another question. You stated that officers were led away and smashed. How about their family members, their wives, their children, their relatives? Were the family members of these officers also targeted and arrested?
Answer. No. No. Such a thing never happened. Family members had never been arrested and sent away.
Je vais peut-être y revenir tout à l'heure. Il y a un.
We'll perhaps return to that later. There's a region from this, a witness from the same region called Chup Unlodged, C-H-U-C-H. Ponlock. He gave a statement, and it says E3/5187. He talked of the execution of former officers of the Khmer Rouge regime, of the Lon Nol regime after April 1975. Do you know those persons? Chok, Ponlock? Do you know that person?
Answer, no, I do not know that person.
Ce n'est pas grave, il a parlé de...
No worries about that. He talked of Tacham and his role, and in his statement, E3/51 to 11, this is what he says in page 3 in English, 3 in French, and pages 2 and 3 in Khmer. He describes how Tacham, and I quote, ordered former soldiers of this species of enemies of Lon Nol to meet in the Phnom Sampur monastery. And later on, he says the following: after I know that they carried out investigations among the people in Phnom Sampur commune to seek out officials of the Lon Nol regime and so on and so forth. The investigations were carried out successfully. I saw the subordinates of Tacham, and soldiers arrest persons they had identified and put them on board vehicles, saying that they were being sent to undergo studies at the upper echelon of Angkar. Among those who were arrested were, for instance, the chief of Phnom Sampur commune, called Clout, K-L-A-U-T, Chan, C-H-H-A-N. They also included Mivert, the chief of Phnom Sampur village, and a teacher at Phnom Sampur called Chan Mul. End of quote. He subsequently says that those persons disappeared, having been killed with gunshots. There's an objection, whereas I haven't even put the question to the witness, Mr. President.
President, you have the floor now, Mr. Kopa.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm sure the witness won't remember anything he just heard, but notwithstanding this, I thought the practice was to ask first open questions. We all know that this particular witness has said certain things about Tacham, but out of the blue, prosecution starts reading a whole excerpt from somebody else's statement, a person who the witness doesn't even know. So I think even if the prosecution hasn't read any question yet, reading this excerpt without any proper introduction and the forming of a foundation, the question should therefore be prohibited.
Sorry, counsel, any question? I mean, you have intervened at a time when no question was asked, and you're basically saying every question should be forbidden.
Well, the next question is going to be, what is your reaction? Or the problem I have is the practice that is being used. This witness has, in his WRIs, said a few things about Tacham. I've been standing here for about 5 minutes until prosecution was finished. Of course, not objection to every question in the future, because I don't know what the prosecution is going to ask. But the next question is, I'm sure, the reaction of this witness, and to that question I have an objection.
Well, Mr. President, I'm not going to phrase the question in this way. It is generally the Noon Chia Council quotes long excerpts that have nothing to do with the statements of the witnesses. But my question is the following. So you, witness, do you remember a gathering of officials and servicemen or former servicemen of the Lon Nol regime in Wat Peo Sampeo? Did you hear that high-ranking cadres and high-ranking servicemen were gathered at Wat Phnom Sampeo?
Answer, I never heard of that matter, and I was never asked about that matter as well. I never saw it.
J'ai une question.
I have a follow-up question regarding the names that were mentioned by this other witness. He is speaking about a soul named Cloud Chan, who was the commune chief of Plum Sampeu. Do you know this person, and do you know what happened to this person?
He was the commune chief, and he was also taken away to be killed.
And was it the same for the village chief of Plum Sampeu Lo, whose name was Mi Vut?
I don't know.
Vous souvenez-vous?
Do you remember the period when Cloud Chan was killed
Le régime du
under the DK regime?
Cloak Chon. He was killed when they investigated and they knew that he was the commune chief, so he was taken away to be smashed.
Bien, et
Fine. And I have a few more questions if my civil party colleagues do not object. So you yourself, you were a former Lundal serviceman. So did you fear for your life? Were you afraid that you would be arrested under the regime?
I was also afraid, but I worked very hard. They assigned me to be the unit chief in transplanting rice, so because of this, they kept me. I was also a soldier.
This morning, you spoke about a certain Tadauk, D-A-O-K, who had been killed. So what was held against this person? Was this person a former Lundal serviceman or a former Lundal official? Or was there another reason explaining why he was killed?
The reason was that he had a gun.
Et
And since he had a gun, did that mean that he was a former serviceman, or that had nothing to do with that?
It was probably, he was perhaps a Lundal soldier. He hid his gun.
D'accord. Et qui l'a? Est-ce que vous...
Fine, and who killed him? Did you witness this execution?
President, witness, please hold on. The whole people in the commune went to a meeting at some high school, and they were smashed. The word smashed means killed. They said that Tadauk had a gun, and he dared to challenge them, so he needed to be smashed. And I witnessed the execution of him because I also attended the meeting. One of his child was also killed along with him. And that was what I witnessed.
Regarding meetings, did you attend meetings that were chaired by the chief of the Northwest Zone, that is to say, Rosnim, alias Mul Sambat?
When I attended a meeting at Phnom Sompo's mountain, Sambat came to chair the meeting one time. I did not see his face clearly because I was from a distance. Sambat came to chair the meeting one time.
Lors de cette réunion,
And during that meeting, did he speak to you about the security situation and about the presence of enemies, or about the fact that you had to demonstrate revolutionary vigilance? Did he speak to you about those ideas?
They told us to work hard to cultivate rice. So it's not a meeting about those ideology. It's just about encouragement of us to work hard to transplant, to cultivate rice.
merci, monsieur.
Thank you, witness. I have no further witnesses on the part of the co-prosecutors. I will now give the floor to my colleagues. Thank you.
President, thank you. Now I give the floor to co-lawyers for civil party. Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, colleagues. I would like to ask the witness. I am on the lawyers for the civil party. I have a number of questions to put to you. First of all, I would like to ask about the use of words about platoon, brigade, regiments. So could you clarify why they use those words to apply to your group who were just ordinary people? So could you please clarify why they use these military terms to apply to ordinary group of people? Witness, I did not know about the reason. I heard from people said about brigade, platoon, and I did not know where these terms came from. So I just follow what people said. So these terms were used to refer to people at the dam site, or it was a generic terms used at your base or at nearby base? Please hold on, Mr. Witness. Witness, yes, the terms brigade, platoon, yes, they were used. Chief of brigade, chief of platoon were used at that time. Lawyers. So I move to another questions. Could you please? In fact, you said that you live in Kroper Cheung village. So is that true, Mr. Witness? Yes, that's correct. So do you know Kroper? Witness, I know that village. It was near the mountain.
ជាតិសាសន៍វៀតណាមគាត់រស់នៅភូមិក្រពើ
Did you know whether or not there were Vietnamese living in Kroper Khang Thbong while you were living in Kroper Khang Chương village?
ដែលឆ្លងគ្នាទេ
Answer. We never trespassed into other village. We had to stay within our area. Question. Thank you. You made a mention about Tul Ta Trong near Phnom Koi, the killing site, as you said. And you said also that there were bodies and corpses at that killing site. Are you aware that there was a creek or stream in that area? President, please wait and observe microphone before you see. It was to the east of Tul Ta Trong where there was a stream, a small stream. Question. Does this mean that Tul Ta Trong was located close to that small stream? Is that correct? Answer. Tul Ta Trong was located to the east of that small stream. The small stream was located in the west direction. Did execution happen within the area of that small stream? Answer. Some people had been relocated from Pailan and they were placed in the area of that small stream, and I did not know whether they were killed at that small stream.
អញ្ចឹងខ្ញុំសូមអាន clear មួយ
Legal lawyer, I would like to read an excerpt from a document E3/7232. It is an interview of a monk named An. In that document, Khmer 0019 7883 English 00274160 French 00226156. Quote. There were city families of Vietnamese, including children who were living in Kroper Bong Sampo commune. They were executed by Khmer Rouge in 1976 at a small stream near Phnom Koi. It was about 700 meters away from Kroper Bong village. Free translation. I would like to ask you whether or not you are aware that Vietnamese people were taken to be killed at that so-called small stream. President, please observe microphone, Mr. Witness. Answer. Some people fled from Pailan and they resided at Tul Ta Trong. Perhaps there were no people killed at that small stream. Some of them may have died because of hunger. College lawyer, you made mention that some people fled from Pailan. Did some of them reside in Kroper Bong village? Answer. They did not go to live in Krapertabong village. In fact, they fled from Thailand and went to live at a small stream where they faced hunger and diseases. Legal lawyer, you were living in Banon. Can you tell the court about the period of 1976 or perhaps the period of 1977 and 1978? Were there any Khmer Krom living in Banon or in other adjacent communes? Please wait, Mr. Witness. Please observe microphone before you speak, said the President. Answer, they were not living within Banon village. I mean, the Khmer Krom were not living within my commune. They were living in other area far away from my commune. Question, then, were there any Khmer Krom living in the adjacent village to your village? Answer, no Khmer Krom were living in any villages adjacent to my village. Legal lawyer, I would like to seek permission from Mr. President to read a short excerpt from document E3/5185. This document has something to do with the witness Juan in Eon in Khmer 00 1978-89, English 0027 4166, and French 00 22 61 63. There is a sentence stating that I saw the killing of a group of Khmer Krom, perhaps about 20 of them, near small stream, which was near Phnom Takoi. That group of people include men and children. I saw a group of Cheng, 5 of them within that group, took that group of people to be killed. Pre-translation. Mr. Witness, have you ever heard about the incident or the killing of Khmer Krom people near Phnom Koi or small stream? President, please wait. Mr. Witness, you have the floor now. Mr. Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. President. I object to this question. First of all, there is no foundation for any knowledge of this particular witness in respect of that event. But more importantly, the alleged killing or the treatment of the Khmer Krom is, as the trial chairman has ruled, outside of the scope of this trial. We're dealing with the alleged genocide of the Vietnamese, and the Khmer Krom, or the treatment of the Khmer Krom, is specifically excluded. So also on that basis, I object to this question.
Monsieur le Président, juste une précision sur ce point.
President, just a point of clarification regarding this point, because we didn't read the text or the Chamber's decision in the same way as the Nguyen Chair defense, and I'm referring to your oral decision of 25 May 2015, E1/304.1. If it is clear that the Chamber excluded from the scope the fact of considering the Khmer Krom as a distinct group, the Chamber seems to be much more vague in considering the Khmer Krom as assimilated to the Vietnamese. In any case, this is how we understood your decision, E1/304.1. So I wanted to make this clear to you.
បាទហើយ
President, the objection by the defense counsel for Mr. Nguyen Chia to the question and to the excerpt quoted by the lead co-lawyer is appropriate, since the topic concerning Khmer Krom is out of a trial topic and cannot be used here for the debate before the chamber. Mr. Winner, you are instructed not to respond to the question.
នៅសល់ចំនួនច្រើន
So I continue my questions. I have a few more questions. Mr. Witness, you said that Vietnam, that about 3 or 4 Vietnamese families in Brigade 2, and you recognize them because they had a distinct accents. So how could you hear them when they speak a distinct Khmer accents? So was it when you talk to them that you recognize their accents, or what? Witness, I did not talk to them, and I did not say about their distinct Khmer accent.
លើកសំណួរ
Questions. So I would like to repeat my question. Maybe my question was too long. You said that the Vietnamese families and about 3 or 4 Vietnamese families in Battalion 2 were taken away to be executed at Tul Takoi. So what I am saying, is it correct or not? Answer. I never said that they were taken to be killed at Tul Takoi. I never said that. President, lawyers, please. The witness gave clear answer to this, so please correct your questions.
អាចជួយទេមិនអនុញ្ញាតទេ
Mr. President, you are not allowed. Legal lawyers, I would like to ask the questions. Did you ever say there were a few Vietnamese families who were taken away by the Khmer Rouge from Battalion 2? Answer. I said a few families. I did say that. They were taken away to be killed at Tuol Tatrong. Legal lawyer, thank you, Mr. President. I think the issue is that witness said that he saw the people were tied up and walked, but he did not witness the killing. So it's a different information. Thank you, Mr. President.
Lead co-lawyer, I heard witness says that these people were killed at Tul Trong. Mr. Witness, I would like your clarification. How did you recognize that they were Vietnamese? Answer. They spoke with accents. For this reason, they were arrested. Lead co-lawyer, I am done with my questioning, Mr. President. Thank you very much, Mr. Witness. President, it is now time for the adjournment, and the hearing will resume tomorrow, 9 December 2015 at 9 a.m. Tomorrow, the Chamber will continue hearing the testimony of Prom Saron, and it may continue to hear 2 TCW 949. Please be informed and please be on time. Thank you, Mr. Prom Saron. The hearing of your testimony as a witness before the Chamber has not come to a conclusion yet. You are therefore invited to be here once again to testify at 9 a.m. Court officer, please work with a vessel to send Mr. Prom Saron back to the place where he is staying at the moment, and please invite him back into the courtroom tomorrow at 9 a.m. Security personnel are instructed to bring Mr. Kisampon and Nunjia back to the detention facility of the ECCC and have them returned into the courtroom tomorrow at before 9 a.m. The court is now adjourned.